Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Friday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Friday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today. I accidentally said the Friday Apocryphal Podcast.
Yeah, that's horrible. What are we gonna do? Just change the name?
I can't edit it out. It was live.
We can't change anything.
Impossible.
Ridiculous.
But the name is Friday Apocryphal Podcast.
It is, yeah. So I've heard.
So I've heard.
Yeah. All right, so today we are getting started with the dream visions of Enoch.
Yes, there is an introduction in the introduction of this version that we have, but is there any information that you would like to go over before I get into that? Oh, by the way, we have the Hermenia translation of First Enoch by George W.E. Nicholsberg and James C. Vanderkam. I'm cleaning my glasses down here.
Yeah, I can't read properly.
You look so different without them. It's like they're part of your face. You need those.
Yeah, put those back on. That was disturbing. Never don't have glasses. Yes, and I am going to read a little bit from Erdman's commentary on the Bible, which we also use quite often.
Yeah, and we're also going to be reading from The Apocalyptic Imagination by John J. Collins at some point.
Yeah, definitely we will reference it this show. And then actually...
Which I don't think we have before.
No, we've referenced it, yeah.
How many times?
A few times, actually. We haven't referenced the... What's the big blue one?
The Jewish...
Apocalyptic
tradition and the shaping of New Testament thought.
Yes, we're going to be using that for the next show, actually.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, it's about damn time.
Yeah, it's about time. The index in there isn't all that helpful, honestly, so I have to go through like a bunch of references.
Well, last show we were able to use the Oxford Companion to the
Bible. That was weird, using the Oxford Companion.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done that. So... in the dream visions, there's a part of it that is called the animal apocalypse. We will be starting it today, but we won't be finishing it today because it's quite long. So we're just going to go over like the first chapter of it. So anyways, let's talk a little bit about the dream visions of Enoch.
Okay.
So the fourth Enoch booklet consists of two visions Enoch received early in life, before his marriage, age 65 according to Genesis 5:21, and before his career as heavenly scribe. The first vision is a brief glimpse of the violent collapse of the world. The second, which accounts for 88% of the dream visions, which is why we can't cover it all, is a lengthy allegory, often called the animal apocalypse, in which historical events from the creation to Adam to the advent of the kingdom of God are acted out by animals.
What kind of animals?
Oh, there's
elephants and donkeys.
Yeah, elephants, donkeys. There's cows.
And they play out the apocalypse for us?
Yes.
Oh, nice little play?
Yeah, like
Do they get anthropomorphic qualities? Can they talk, or are we just watching normal animals?
No,
they're normal animals.
Oh, that's boring.
Until they become something else, in which case they're not normal animals.
Yeah.
So we're definitely gonna have a lot of stuff to say about the animal apocalypse. But for right now, I will just leave it at that. Is there an introduction in the dream?
There is certainly an introduction, and I will read it. I'm just going to do the whole bit because we're only doing 2 chapters next time, right?
But those are some very long chapters.
They're very long chapters. Yeah. The dream visions. Enoch recounts 2 dream visions about future events. In the first, he foresees the world's destruction in the flood, chapters 83 through 84. In its literary line and its typology of flood and final judgment, the narrative in chapter 83 parallels stories about Noah in chapters 65 and 106 through 107. And the prayer in chapter 84 is probably dependent on the angelic prayer in chapter 9. In his second dream vision, chapters 85 through 90, Enoch sees the history of the world played out in allegorical form. Human beings are depicted as animals, the sinful angels as fallen stars, and the 7 archangels as human beings. The first of 3 major eras runs from creation to the first judgment in the flood, chapters 85:3 through 89:58. All the human dramatis persona are cattle. For his account of the events described in Genesis 6:1 through 4, chapters 86 through 88, the author has drawn heavily on the traditions in chapters 6 through 11. The first star to fall is Asael, 86:1 through 3, 88:1.
Yeah, which is kind of different because everyone, all of the Watchers in the Book of the Watchers came down at the same time. But this time, it's Asael
Right.
who's coming first.
Right.
So he's been there for longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other stars descend from heaven, become bulls, and mate with the heifers, i.e. women, thus producing camels, elephants, and asses, i.e. the giants. The era ends with God's judgment in the flood. The second era begins with the renewal of creation after the flood, and we'll be getting into that later on. But I guess the rest of it would be more fitting to read next time. So why don't we do that next time?
Sure.
And this time, we can get into Enoch's dream visions.
Yes, his first dream vision.
Yes, first dream vision, the flood. I'll start us off at chapter 83. And now, my son Methuselah, I will show you all the visions that I saw. Apparently he had 2. Before you, I will recount them. 2 visions I saw before I took a wife, and the one was unlike the other. The first was when I was learning to write, and the second before I took your mother as my wife. I saw a terrible vision, and concerning it I made supplication to the Lord. I was lying down in the house of Mahalalel, my grandfather, when I saw in a vision. Mahalalel is Enoch's grandfather?
Yes.
Okay. Heaven was thrown down and taken away, and it fell down upon the earth. And when it fell upon the earth, I saw how the earth was swallowed up in the great abyss. Mountains were suspended upon mountains, and hills sank down upon hills. Tall trees were cut from their roots, and were thrown away and sank into the abyss. And then speech fell into my mouth, and I lifted up my voice to cry out and said, the earth has been destroyed.
Yeah, so in context, this is obviously supposed to be about the upcoming flood, but not a single reference to a drop of water.
No.
No, abyss. Water.
Right, abyss.
Come on. Duh.
Unless you take the abyss to be water.
Well, which is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even though it's clearly talking about the flood, it's just interesting that there's no actual reference to the flood.
Yeah, it is.
Water is everywhere, but you can't drink most of it.
Yeah. I guess.
That's not why. That's not it.
And Mahalalel, my grandfather, aroused me since I was lying near him and said to me,
Oh, boy.
why do you cry out so, my son, and why do you lament so? And I recounted to him the whole vision that I had seen, and he said to me, a terrible thing you have seen, my son, and mighty is the vision of your dream in the secrets of all the sin of the earth. It must sink into the abyss, and it will be utterly destroyed. And now, my son, arise and make supplication to the Lord of glory, since you are faithful. that a remnant may remain upon the earth, and that he may not obliterate the whole earth. My son, from heaven all this will take place on the earth, and on the earth there will be great destruction. Then I arose and prayed, and made supplication and requests, and my prayer I wrote down for the generations of eternity, and everything I shall show you, my son Methuselah. And when I went out below and saw the heaven and the sun rising in the east, and the moon setting in the west, and a few stars, and all the earth and everything as he made, Ethiopic says new instead of made, it from the beginning. Then I blessed the Lord of judgment, and to him I ascribed majesty. For he made the sun go forth from the windows of the east, so that it ascended and rose on the face of heaven, and he made it rise, and it traverses the path that it was shown. Now we're in chapter 84.
I mean, I have no more commentary on that, but I mean, I'm going to have some commentary on chapter 84. Could you hand me Apocalyptic Imagination?
Yep, here you go.
Oh, thanks.
And if you're enjoying the stream so far, give us a like, share it, subscribe.
Share a subscribe.
Share a subscribe.
Yeah, if you have already subscribed, you should share a subscribe, whatever
Yes.
the hell that means.
Log into your significant other's account
Oh,
and
wow.
subscribe to us.
Wow.
And share from them. Yeah,
that
right.
seems like a serious
that's
invasion
horrible.
of privacy.
I mean, who cares?
I mean, I'm sure someone cares, yeah.
I would be upset.
I would also be upset.
You would be upset if someone logged into your YouTube account and subscribed to Milwaukee Atheists?
Well, I don't think they can do that. That's not possible.
Well, one of your other YouTube accounts.
Oh, those are already subscribed to Milwaukee Atheists.
Wow.
What if they did it again?
So, you subscribe to Milwaukee Atheists, Lawrence?
Technically,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you
But
think
not
of their
not with
content?
Milwaukee Atheists. Well, I don't know. It's kind of derivative.
Oh, yeah. Bunch of assholes, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Are you done finding your place?
Yeah. We're gonna need it in just a bit.
Okay. Chapter 84. And I lifted up my hands in righteousness and blessed the great Holy One. And I spoke with the breath of my mouth and with a tongue of flesh. There's a footnote that says, i.e., a human tongue.
Well, okay. I think we could have assumed
Yeah,
that.
we could have.
Right. So this prayer, right? This is the beginning of this prayer. Yeah, he then offers up blessings and intercession, modeled on the prayer of the four archangels in chapters 90 through 10 in the Book of the Watchers. So it's
Okay.
modeled after that.
Yes. Well, I'm not at the blessing quite yet. And I spoke with the breath of my mouth and with the tongue of flesh, which God has made for the sons of the flesh of man, that they might speak with it. And he has given them breath and tongue and mouth, that they might speak with it. The line appears to be a doublet of the previous one. Now the blessing starts. Blessed are you, O Lord, King, great and mighty in your majesty, Lord of all the creation of the heaven, King of kings and God of all eternity. Your power and your reign and your majesty abide forever and forever and ever. And to all generations your dominion. All the heavens are your throne forever, and all the earth is your footstool forever and forever and ever. For you have made and you rule all things, and nothing is too difficult for you. Wisdom does not escape you, and it does not turn away from your throne. There's apparently commentary on that line.
In what?
I know you guys.
Somewhere. It doesn't really. Oh. It says to refer to First Enoch 1.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's that would be their first actual commentary on it.
Like I know.
So it's the one that we don't have. We have First Enoch 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Still waiting on First Enoch 3.
Oof, that
So,
sucks.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
you guys are talking about God, or he's talking about God, but for some unknown reason, I'm feeling a huge ego boost from just how complimentary they are.
Well, I mean,
It's just so nice. He's just like you just know everything, and you're infinitely wise. And I'm like, huh, man, I feel great right now just hearing these compliments. I wish they were directed.
you're
at me.
not God.
I know.
All right,
Yeah,
then.
no one would direct these compliments towards you.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't know those are some incredibly
Complimenting compliments.
You would
No,
have
they're
to
in-
be God.
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah.
They're never gonna achieve that. Oh well,
No.
I'm not even gonna try. Okay, please continue.
Wisdom does not escape you. It does not turn away from your throne, nor from your presence. You know and see and hear all things, and there is nothing that is hidden from you. All Ethiopic manuscripts add, for you see all things, almost certainly a doublet of the previous line. That was a footnote there. And now the angels of your heavens are doing wrong, and upon human flesh is your wrath until the great day of judgment. And now, O God and Lord and great King, I make supplication and request that you fulfill my prayers, to leave me a remnant on the earth and not obliterate all human flesh and devastate the earth, that there be eternal destruction. And now, my Lord, remove from the earth the flesh that has aroused your wrath, but the righteous and true flesh raise up as a seed-bearing plant forever, and hide not your face from the prayer of your servant, O Lord. And that's the end of chapter 84.
That's the end of 84. All right, so now since we are getting into chapter 85, this is where the dream vision, the second one, begins, and it's the animal apocalypse. So now I feel it's necessary to talk a little bit more about the animal apocalypse.
Yes.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, right? So the animal apocalypse can be precisely dated to the opening years of the Maccabean Revolt, 165 to 160 BCE. It has much in common with the Apocalypse of Weeks in the fifth Enochic booklet. We'll get there, which predates the animal apocalypse by less than a decade. So it's very close in time to the next part of Enoch that we're going to read. In true Enochic fashion, the animal apocalypse makes creative use of the traditional twin motifs of Enoch's wisdom and the fallen angels. Regarding the former, we already knew from the older booklets that Enoch had been given knowledge of human destinies, but there were a few details beyond description of the last judgment, and no account was given of the phenomenon of Israel. As for the fallen angel theme, the dream visions, like the later parables of Enoch, adds a political dimension to the Enochic angelology in order to explain what is going on behind the screen of earthly events. The animal apocalypse introduces a group of 70 wicked shepherd angels who are assigned governance of Israel as punishment for her sins from the time of the Babylonian conquest until God's intervention, a period neatly divided into 70 hours. And then more on the angels. These angels serve as a warning to the author's contemporaries. Apostate Jews, quote, blinded sheep, will share the same fate as the Watchers and these wicked shepherds, a clear tie-in with the eschatology of the Book of the Watchers. Now, I do have a little bit more stuff, and I'm going to read this from J.J. Collins, The Apocalyptic Imagination. Very good book, by the way.
Okay.
One other apocalypse of Enoch, the animal apocalypse, is attested at Qumran. It can be dated on internal grounds to the Maccabean revolt. This apocalypse is itself part of the Book of Dreams. Enoch recounts to Methuselah 2 visions I saw before I took a wife. The first was a simple vision of cosmic destruction, how the earth is about to sink into the abyss and be utterly destroyed. We are reminded of Jeremiah 4:23 through 26. I looked on the earth, and lo, it was waste and void, and to the new heavens, and to the heavens, and they had no light. This brief vision is a paradigm of judgment, a reminder that the whole world could be destroyed. It implies the contingency of the world, its dependence on its maker. It need not refer to any particular crisis. The second vision in chapters 85 through 91 is a complex allegory. The figures of biblical history are represented by animals. Adam is a white bull. Cain and Abel are black and red bulls. Seth and his descendants are white bulls. The descendant of the Watchers is expressed in chapter 86 as the descent or fall of stars from heaven, in accordance with the common identification of stars with angels or heavenly beings. The giants begotten by them are elephants, camels, and asses, which I can just mention it now. Those are like just puns. Those are very close to what they're supposed to represent. We'll get into that a little bit. I'll have to find an Erdman's. But anyways, then there came from heaven beings who were like white men. These are the angels who bind the Watchers and imprison them. 3 angels also lift Enoch up to a high place from which he can view the course of history. Enoch does not undertake a heavenly tour, but his vision is assisted by the angels. Just a little introduction to the animal apocalypse.
Were they talking about
how many guys are
Europeans?
represented by white bulls?
There's Adam and the line of Seth.
And it's the same representation either way.
Well, all humans are going to be bulls.
Okay, and except the humans that are there are the angels.
Yeah.
Boy, that's fun.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking this is going to need to be brought up a lot.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right.
Yeah. Do you want to read these chapters, or do you want to?
Sure, I can read the chapters. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Here you go. I'll trade you.
Oh, I'll trade you this book for this book.
Oh, that book was so much better. All right, so we are getting started with 85?
I think so.
Right? Okay,
Yeah.
Great. After this, I saw a second dream, and I will show all of it to you, my son. And Enoch lifted up his voice and said to his son Methuselah, to you I speak, my son. Hear my words, and incline your ear to the dream vision of your father. Before I took your mother Edna as my wife.
Apparently, Methuselah's mother is Edna.
That is new information.
It is new information.
Yeah.
Where did Edna come from?
Oh, right here.
Around.
Somewhere.
Yeah. So before I took your mother Edna as my wife, I saw in a vision on my bed, and look, I'm sure it says behold.
Behold!
A bull came forth from the earth, and that bull was white. And after it, a young heifer came forth.
Hold on.
Okay.
You there in the audience, if you use the promo code LOOK
Yes, promo code LOOK.
on our Teespring, you
Yeah.
can get 10%
10% off.
till the end of the month.
Yeah, till the end of the month.
All right.
Thank you.
Check it out.
Thank you, Nicholsburg and Vanderkam.
Thank you, Nicholsburg and Vanderkam,
Look.
for the inferior behold.
Yeah.
Eerdmans actually has the behold.
Good.
Yep.
What a shame.
What a shame.
And with her 2 bull calves came forth. One of them was black, one of them was red. And that black calf struck the red one and pursued it over the earth. And from then on, I could not see that red calf.
So obviously this is the Cain and Abel.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. But that black calf grew up, and a young heifer came to it. And I saw that many cattle came forth from it, that were like it and were following after it. And that female calf, that first one, went forth from the presence of that first bull. She searched for that red calf, but did not find it. And she lamented bitterly over it and searched for it. I don't remember that being in the Bible.
I don't recall anything of the
This
sort.
is an allegory of an allegory.
Well, I mean, this is just, they're making they're taking some liberties here.
It's like those children cartoons that they make about biblical tales. They take
Yeah.
a lot of liberties.
Now, which female cow is this? Is this
Was
Eve?
Eve. Yeah, this was Eve that was, all sad about her son not being around. And I looked until that first bull came to her and quieted her. And from that time on, she did not cry out. After this, she bore another white bull. And after it, she bore many black bulls and cows. So I'm guessing,
Different fathers.
Well, sure, yeah, you could say different fathers, but I'm guessing that these black ones are supposed to be the sinful ones, because Cain, he was a black bull and he killed his brother who was a red bull.
I guess, but then what
Red
are
Bull.
the Red Bulls supposed to
Oh,
do?
we
They
should have been drinking
wings?
Red Bull. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Do they have wings? Is that what makes Red Bulls special? Because they're
Yes.
white bulls, they're black bulls, they're Red Bulls.
Yeah. So I'm
Is that
guessing.
where Red Bull got their
name?
thing, their name? We should ask them about the Book of Enoch.
Yeah. So did the Black Bull? So if we start a company that was Black Bull, do you think we could destroy Red Bull? Because it's what happened here.
I bet there's already a company out there called Black Bull.
Yeah, probably.
It's a really easy name.
It really is, yeah. Anyways, and I saw in my sleep that white bull, that it grew likewise, and became a large white bull, and from it came forth many white cattle, and they were like it, and they began to bear many white cattle, which were like them, and each one followed the other. So you're talking about this huge, generational, this huge line of white bulls, which would be the line of Adam and Seth.
In one night?
Probably not in one night.
But it says so.
I don't think it says that.
In this thing.
I don't think it says that.
How long did it
It
take?
took a night.
It wasn't. I guess he saw it in a night because it was in a dream, right? But I don't
yeah.
think
That's a creepy dream.
Well, yeah, a dream of
Just watching all the birds.
all the birds and all the
Dads, maybe.
all the cows fuck.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah.
That's all you get.
That's what you get.
That's a horrible dream.
That is okay. So maybe if there was some historical
I
guy who
understand
saw this stuff,
Why this is a
he had this ridiculous dream. Maybe I don't know. I guess
Please continue.
watching these,
We'll stop implicating things.
maybe it got his rocks off. And again, I saw with my eyes as I was sleeping.
Now, hold on. That's the end of 85,
Yes,
isn't it?
sorry, that's the end of 85.
So there are notable differences here between the animal apocalypse and Genesis. Most glaringly, the sin of Adam and Eve is ignored.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep. The Enochians were certainly aware of Genesis 3, but in their view, the fall of the angels in Genesis 6, 1 through 4 had far greater universal impact. There are also extra-biblical traditions included, such as Eve's mourning for Abel and the glorification of Seth, which can be paralleled in folklore preserved elsewhere in non-canonical and non-canonical Jewish and Gnostic literature. The rest is about
Right later
extra-
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
keep going.
And again I saw with my eyes as I was sleeping. I saw the heaven above, and look, a star fell from heaven, and it arose, and was eating and pasturing among those cattle. Then I saw those large and black cattle, And look, all of them exchanged their pens and their pastures and their calves, and they began to moan one after the other. What the hell do you think that means?
I don't want to know.
They exchanged.
I hate it.
Oh, okay. I'm guessing this is a reference. Is this a reference to the
What
exile?
verse is that?
That's 86:2.
2.
I'm
After
guessing this is
that-
a reference to like an exile, because people moving around or some sort of diaspora, maybe. That would be my best guess. Their pens and pastures, and they began to moan.
And to make changes in their pastures, their stables, and their calves. And they began to attack one another.
That was 86:2.
Yeah, in Eerdmans.
Wow.
So I assume that they're
Oh, here's
literally
why.
talking about traveling from one place to another.
Yes.
And the Bible talks about race mixing.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why they bring up the calves, right? Because it says they made changes in their pastures, their stables, and their calves. So
Well, the calves would just be their kids because they're all
right, and they would have changes made to them by
another culture.
another culture. You travel from
Sure.
one place to another. It have changes in your pastures, the literal lands that you're on, your stables, that is your homes, the architecture, the way of life, and the calves, which is the people who are born after you, who are now in this culture, and
Right. I
maybe
mean, it's
even
not
also the product of that culture.
Sure, but I don't think it would be necessarily the same kind of race mixing. That is
Right,
talked
it's
about.
not like
That's like they're the half breeds of
Yeah,
Manasseh or
it's-
whatever, the
it's-
half tribe.
it's not like that, but it's like the Babel story.
Sure,
you
sure.
know? Like, this is the point at which they start spreading out
Yeah.
and really differentiating.
And what's interesting is in your version, it said they began to attack.
Yes, after they make changes, and they began to attack one another, and that's still part of verse 2.
Yeah, what's interesting is that there's a note in this one that says this verb, moan, in mine, is attested only in one Ethiopic manuscript. And then, of course, there's a reference to First Enoch 1 that we don't have.
Mm-hmm.
Bummer. Anyways, I'll continue. And again I saw in the vision, and I looked to heaven, and look, I saw many stars descend and cast themselves down from heaven to that first star, and in the midst of those calves they became bulls, and they were pasturing with them in their midst. So I guess, that would be what you were talking about.
Yeah.
And I looked at them, and I saw and looked. This guy's looking a lot.
Yeah, and you can look a lot if you use your look promo code.
If you use the look promo code, you can also look a lot.
The mic.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. How many times this has come up?
And look, I looked.
And then you looked and I looked.
Yeah.
It's like 8 or 9
It's
times.
a lot, yeah.
It's ridiculous. I'm not keeping count, but if I was, it's like 8 or 9.
I
guessing.
looked at them, and I saw and look, all of them let out their organs like horses.
Okay,
And they- okay.
So Eerdman says, as I watched, behold,
Behold.
Well,
Well, we don't really need that.
they all let out their private parts like horses and began to mount the heifers of the bulls.
Yep. And they began to mount the cows of the bulls.
There's an Ezekiel reference, isn't it?
Not exactly. It's kind of close. It's very close to the Ezekiel reference, but the Ezekiel reference is more about, discharge.
Yeah.
So it's not
Oof.
it's not quite the same.
And they say donkeys instead of horses, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they all conceived and bore elephants and camels and asses. So I think there should be some commentary about that in Erdman's. Because I talked about, a little bit from Colin's work
Yes, it
Yeah.
says the offspring of the Watchers are elephants, camels, and donkeys. Not only is this clever use of allegory, since these animals would indeed be monsters if born from cattle,
Yeah.
but the words themselves in Aramaic are puns and anagrams for the Nephilim, giants, and Eliad of Enoch 7:2.
Yeah, if you remember those generations.
See if it.
It does
I
not
don't think it has.
the actual Aramaic and the pun.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't
have
have that, sadly.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, right? I would have been very interested in that. And all the bulls feared them and were terrified before them, and they began to bite with their teeth and devour and gore with their horns. And they began to devour those bulls. And look, all the sons of the earth began to tremble and quake before them and to flee. So, a lot of destruction going on. Those watchers, or sorry, not watchers, those elephants, camels, and donkeys are causing a lot of trouble.
Yes,
They're the bad guys.
they certainly are. So there's a bit about Abraham, but we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, we got
So,
2 more chapters, and these 2
Why don't
chapters are
you give me the last 2 chapters, and you can
they're very short chapters, by the way.
handle that. All right. These are very short chapters. This is chapter 87.
The story of a girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
No, it's Divine Judgment.
Oh, damn.
Chapter
Wrong.
87.
Wrong this is.
And again I saw them, and they began to gore one another and devour one another, and the earth began to cry out. And I lifted my eyes again to heaven, and I saw in the vision, and look.
Look.
So many of them today.
There came forth from heaven beings with the appearance of white men. Likely not Europeans.
No. I'm guessing angels and light and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Specifically Africans.
4 came forth from that place. Oh, that's nice alliteration. 4 came forth from.
Amazing.
Yeah, Psalms needs more of that.
Yeah, come on, Psalms.
From that place, and 3 with them. And those 3 who came after took hold of me by my hand and raised me from the generations of the earth and lifted me onto a high place. And they showed me a tower high above the earth, and all the hills were smaller. And they said to me, "Stay here until you see all that happens to those elephants and camels and asses and to the stars and to the cattle and all of them."
Yeah, just a big, here's just you wait.
Yep.
They're going to get destroyed.
And that's the end of chapter 87.
Yeah, very short.
Very short.
Yeah. And
So-
the next one is just as short, honestly.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be a short episode today, but because of this weird division in the book.
Yeah.
So the first dream vision, right? We got through that in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Very short. The second one is enormous. And that would have taken us quite a while to get through. So this was really the best division we could think of, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 chapters of this book are too long.
Yeah. Like it was seriously an issue, so we had to
This
cut it
is the
way.
last 2 chapters of this book.
In comparison, because like we read like what 3 pages today.
Yeah, we read like 3 pages today.
Yeah.
That's
So-
not a lot.
It's really not. So yeah, we know it's a short one, but next week's gonna be a pretty long one to make up for it.
So this tower that's here,
Yeah.
that's high above the earth, what are they referencing?
I have no idea.
The high tower.
Well then. And I saw one of those 4 who had come before. He sees that first star, this is chapter 88, that first star that had fallen from heaven, and he bound it by its hands and feet and threw it into an abyss. And that abyss was narrow and deep and desolate and dark.
So this is probably, is this supposed to be about Sheol and about the Watchers being thrown in?
Yeah, this is definitely a reference to the events of the Book of the Watchers.
Right, yeah.
So, but this gives it a little more, a little something, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
It spices it up a notch.
before it was just like, oh, well, these angels came down and they told humans how to do these things.
And that was evil,
And,
apparently.
Yeah, but now with the animal apocalypse,
Yeah.
it's like a kid's show.
It is. We could make this a kids show.
I would prefer
if we didn't. Yeah.
help the Christians manage to get their message into a friendly format. They have a hard time doing it. They'd have it. This sounds really hard.
This is it.
But
You're gonna turn this into the Land Before
We
Time
could-
equivalent of a good tale.
we could turn
Yeah.
a whole generation into Enochians. Yes. Does
Oh,
that
yeah.
not sound like a fucking blast?
Sounds great.
For $69.99.
Right, but here in the animal apocalypse, you at least get to see that humans were really screwing up bad.
Yeah, because it was mentioned that they, in the Book of Enoch, they didn't mention Eve's and Adam's sin,
Right,
but they did mention Cain and Abel, and that was also that was a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And also, obviously, that the Watchers are bad too.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting here is I don't think it mentions the sin of the Watchers. It just says that they're being cast down.
Well, it said previously that they mated.
Oh yeah. Okay, but that's
But
the only one that they mentioned.
Yeah. They don't talk about
It was-
metallurgy or astrology or any of the things that they taught.
It was just the interbreeding this time.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of these drew a sword and gave it to those elephants and camels and asses, and they began to strike one another, and the whole earth quaked because of them. And as I looked in the vision, look, use it for 10% off or Teespring. One of those four who had come forth hurled stones from heaven and gathered and took all the great stars, whose organs were like the organs of horses, and bound all of them by their hands and their feet and threw them into an abyss of the earth.
So, is this a reference to the archangels? Because remember, there were four of them in. I think was it in the parables that there were four of them, or in the astronomical book that they only mentioned four of them? Because I remember.
Oh, man. I think
Yeah,
it
there
was in the parables.
Okay, yeah, because remember there were four that were talked about, and Michael was the leader, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
So is this a reference to Michael doing that then? Because you're right. Because wasn't he the one that was supposed to put them in prison?
I think so.
Because all those had a job. They were all given divine right to do some stuff, but I forget where that was.
There's a list of the
Home Depot.
archangels.
If anyone in the chat remembers which chapter that was, that'd be great. If anything, we can just look it up after the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's probably talking about that. That would be my best guess.
Yeah. It's really early on, somewhere in here.
Yeah.
No, I think for archangels. Okay. And we're looking for throwing rocks from heaven and binding them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because sadly, Erdman's doesn't really have much on that.
It might be Phanuel.
Okay.
It might be Michael. I don't think it's Raphael. It might be Gabe. An archangel.
Well, remember at the very beginning there were 7,
right.
and then only 4 were used later.
Right, there's the 7 archangels. Okay.
Yeah.
Ra'uel, one of the holy angels who takes
Hold on,
vengeance.
is our sound out?
What? No.
No?
Why would our sound be
Weird.
out?
Okay, I don't know.
Did I look
They
weird or
lost sound.
something?
Apparently we lost sound for a bit.
No
That's
way.
weird. Okay, we'll have to go back and watch that.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's back though.
No, it's back now.
Okay.
But it may be Ra'uel who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries.
Okay, that sounds.
It also might be Sariel, who is in charge of the spirits who sin against the spirit. It might also be Remiel, who God put in charge of them that rise. And it might be Gabriel, who is in charge of paradise and the serpents and the cherubim.
I don't think it would be that one. I don't think it'd be Gabriel then.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to, because I have no what. I know we were talking about trying to figure out the who these angels are supposed to be, who these 4 angels are.
Yeah.
And which one is throwing them down, casting them down.
Yeah.
So that is what we were talking about. We were going over previous chapters because we don't remember.
I didn't see shit on OBS.
Yeah, that's weird.
It might be YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry,
maybe.
guys.
I don't know. Yeah, sorry about that. So
I've noticed some audio clipping in some YouTube videos lately that like come from pretty professional studios.
right.
And
So you wouldn't think that they'd
Yeah.
have that. Yeah. So what we were talking about before is we were trying to remember which book it came from. So we eventually got there.
yeah. That's it. You know, the great stars as organs are like the organs of horses.
Whoa.
They got bound up by their hands and feet, threw them in the abyss.
Yeah. So apparently we're at a sync or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just YouTube stuff. It also took a while for the stream to like start too.
Yeah,
I
had
noticed
to
that.
reload to just get it to show up for us.
Yeah, that was kind of strange.
Again,
That
not
is
seeing this in OBS. The desync is the same as I'm used to.
Yeah, and it says our stream health is healthy.
100%,
Yeah.
0 frames dropped. We've got no indicators of
Yeah.
bad signals on our end.
Yeah.
We apologize if YouTube's being a jerk.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, but
Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's still tolerable.
with that being said, we got through everything that we're gonna get through.
Yeah,
this
at least
time.
for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
But next time,
it's gonna be crazy.
yeah,
There is so much, and I remember you earlier in the show. You pulled up and showed how long those next 2 chapters are.
oh yeah,
It's enormous.
these next 2 chapters are 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. 14 pages.
14 pages. Yeah, it is quite a bit, and there's a lot of interesting stuff
Yeah.
in that
No,
too.
no,
'Cause-
there's a lot of cool stuff.
yeah, because it's gonna be the meat of the animal apocalypse. So definitely, if you guys want to catch all the shows, click the bell for notifications because next week, oh boy, are we gonna have a time on this show.
Oh,
This
yeah.
show's gonna be great next week.
And if you want to throw us some donations or Amazon wish list
Yeah,
stuff
I'll-
or anything.
In fact, Nightbot just put in the chat our Amazon wish list.
Oh, thanks, Nightbot.
Nightbot, you're great. Love you.
Yep, our best viewer.
Always here. So yeah, we got a Twitter, Facebook, Teespring, 10% off if you use the promo code
Look, all caps.
Yes.
It is the inferior behold.
Yeah.
Behold gave you 20% off.
But that's gone.
It's gone.
What else we got? We got
Alchemy Drive.
Patreon also.
Yep.
And by the way, once we hit $200 a month on Patreon, we will start working on our show, The High Place.
Yeah. It's going to hit actual pre-production.
Yeah, and it's going to be really, really good. So
Yeah.
I cannot
and
wait.
it's going to take a long time to make.
It is, but Ruben and I have worked on this on the actual I guess outline
Skeleton.
of the show. Yeah, skeleton of the show. And it looks amazing. It's not like everyone that I tell about this, they think it's fantastic. It's one of the best stories that they've ever heard. Like the actual amount of Easter eggs and all, it's just great stuff. It's great stuff. So we are very excited to get that started. But either way, there are a lot of cool rewards.
And you know what?
Patreon.
If you
Teespring's great
donate
too.
a hell of a lot of money,
You could be on the show. No, not that.
in 1 month,
Yeah.
we will personally, one of us, will,
we'll give you a high five.
in the United States, mainland United States. We'll fly out. We'll give you a high five.
What were you?
I was gonna say handshake, but
What are you
forget
comfortable with? That's what's
that.
important.
Whatever you're comfortable with. A fist bump.
Yeah, you could get a fist bump.
Something. This show should not do call-ins.
This show is not a call-in show. Sorry, guys.
If this show did call-ins, we would have Darth Dawkins on every week.
And it would. Well, the thing is, if it's a call-in show, like it wouldn't be the show. It would have to be something else. Why would it be Friday Apocryphal podcast, or why would it be Atheist Sunday School? If we're doing something, it just wouldn't be the show.
Yeah. It's like Krishnamurti said about life. Life's meaningless. So if you try to give it meaning, it's not life. It's like
Wow.
Friday
Yeah,
Apocryphal
we watched
podcast.
that together. That was fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy. Anyways,
that
thanks
guy.
everyone for joining us. I know it's kind of a short show, but next week's show is going to be pretty huge. We got Atheist Sunday School coming up on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you would like to see that, then we will see you
So we will see you on Sunday.
on Sunday.